Chidi, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay, Nana. EC2. What is the full form of EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud or Cloud Compute? Elastic Compute Cloud. So what do we do with this EC2? What? Yes. Elastic Compute Cloud. So if anyone asks what is EC2, then you can say EC2. Guys, everything in AWS is a web service. Everything in AWS is a web service. So EC2 also a web service. IAM is also a web service. S3 is also a web service. Everything in AWS is a web service. So this EC2 is also a web service where what do we do with this EC2 from AWS that provides resizable compute services in the cloud. What is this called? Resizable compute services. Okay. So EC2 is a web service from AWS that provides resizable, please listen this. What is this called? Resizable compute services in the cloud. What is the meaning of resizable here? So first, let me start with this and then we'll know. EC2 is a web service from AWS that provides resizable compute services in the cloud. Here, the most important thing is resizable. Nana, can you read that sentences once, please? EC2 is a web service from AWS that provides resizable compute services in the cloud. So here the concept is resizable. What is resizable? So remember, can we do scale out and scale in? Can you launch EC2 instances, multiple EC2 instances? And also, can you do scale up and scale down also possible? Yes, scale out and scale is also possible. Scale up and scale down is also possible. So how many EC2 instances that you want to launch? You can launch those many EC2 instances. And how much you want to scale up? You can scale up. So what is this scale out and scale in called? Auto scaling. What is the scale out and scaling called? Auto scaling. What is scale up and scale down called? Scale up, scale down. Scalability. What is that? Scalability. So resizable meaning, can we say auto scaling and then scalability? Can auto scaling and scalability can easily achieve in EC2? Yes. How many EC2 instances that you want to launch? You can launch. How much you want to scale up? You can scale up. No issues. So EC2 is a web service from AWS that provides resizable compute services in the cloud. Here I'm writing what is resizable. 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 Resizable meaning here scale up, scale down, and scale out, and then scale in. Now, what is scale up and scale down called? Scale up, scale down. Okay. So take out that starting pages, go through it. Remember, we discussed about 3 T's. Just go check it once. No. I'm asking what is scale up and scale down called? What is that called? Then why you're getting confused with auto scaling? Right? Scale out and scale in is called auto scaling. Right? Scale out and scale in is called auto scaling. Scale up, scale down is called what? Scalability. So here I have written scale up and scale down. What is this called? Scalability. Scale out and scale in, auto scaling. Or also can I call it elasticity? Yes. So this is called resizable. So what I mean here is in EC2, we can do scalability a lot and we can do the elasticity, that meaning auto scaling a lot. So you'll get how many EC2 instances that you want to have, you can have it. And how much bigger machines that you want to have, you can have it, no issues. So EC2 is, I told you, every service in AWS is a regional or global. So IAM was regional or global, whereas EC2 regional. So that is a certification question. So EC2 is regional. Now, what are the servers called here? What instances? EC2 instances. Very nice. And what do we do with this EC2 instance? Can we go and launch EC2 instance? So EC2 instance will running state. Can I stop the EC2 instance? Can I start the EC2 instance? Can I reboot the EC2 instance? Can I terminate the EC2 instance? What is the meaning of terminate? Terminate meaning pasak. Terminate meaning delete, destroy. Okay, so now when your EC2 is running, billa, no billa? Bill or no bill? Definitely bill. When it is stopped, billa, no billa? No bill. So when it terminate, no bill. Similarly, guys, this is just like your power, electricity. You have your fan running. So when you switch on your fan, your electricity consumption will start. That means you will get the current bill, right? If you switch off the fan, so you will get the current bill? No. How much ever you have used, that much you need to pay for it. So you have used the fan for 3 hours, you need to only pay for the 3 hours. Similarly, here also in EC2, in how many hours that you have used, you need to pay for those many hours. So that's what we call it as here, pay as you go model. What model? Pay as you go. What is that? Pay as you go. That meaning how many hours that you have used, those many hours that you need to pay for it. And remember, as we need to do a lot of practicals in EC2, right? And don't worry about the bill. I'm telling you, every batch, I have been taking so many batches, right? Every batch, 90% of the people, 95% of the people, they don't get the bill because they follow me. But 5% may only five people, or what they do, they'll come saying me, sir, I got the bill. Like they'll say, how you got award? Like the same thing, they'll come and say, sir, I got the bill. See, if you follow me, if you follow my instructions, you don't get the bill. If you don't follow my instructions and if you want to do something else extra, then definitely you will get the bill. So please remember, especially in EC2, you need to follow me. Whatever I say, do it. If I say don't touch it, don't touch it. Okay, you getting it? And don't worry here, we have 750 hours are free. How many hours are free? 750 hours per month. Per month. How many hours per month we have? 750. But actually, per day, 12 hours, 24 hours, right? And then if you into 30, if you take it, how much? 24 into 30. 720. So you have 720 hours only with us, correct? But why AWS is giving 750 hours free? We learn this, right? So, but for now, how many hours are free for us, Nana? 750 hours are free. 750 hours free per month. So you no need to worry. You can go and launch EC2 instances. You can use it. So, and also here, I told you price is here, pay as you go type. What is it? Pay as you go. Pay as you go. Pay as you go. And you need to pay every hour. How you need to pay? Every hour you need to pay. Every hour. You can say hour also, you can say hour also. Okay. Now, so now What I'm telling you is, I'll give you one small question and you need to answer it. This is a certification question. Okay. Today, I have launched the EC2 instance and I have used for 5 minutes and then I terminated it. Okay. I launched an EC2 instance. I used for how much time? 5 minutes and I terminated it. And then again, I have launched one more EC2 instance. I used for 5 minutes and then terminated it. Tell me how much AWS will charge for this? How much time? 10 minutes, one next. Huh? So we have this, we all get afraid, no? Amma, I launch an EC2, I'll get the bill and people will go and terminate it, right? So you did. So you launched one EC2 instance and you got scared and then you terminated it. Again, you launch one more EC2 instance and you use for 5 minutes and then again you terminate it. So how much time will AWS will charge for this? One answer is, you are saying 10 minutes. And another answer? Free, huh? Zero. Zero meaning free. One is zero. One more answer. 5 minutes. Which one? Very good. The answer is 2 hours. Answer is 2 hours. So why I'm saying this here is AWS will bill for 2 hours. I'll give you a perfect example. Remember now, I don't know, in our college days, now also maybe, you have internet, no? How much is for 1 hour? How 1 hour? 20 rupees. And you went and used for only 15 minutes. Will you say that I'll give only 10 rupees? What he'll pay for? He'll ask for 20 rupees only, no? So whether you use it or not, that guy, internet guy, has fixed the hourly price is 20 rupees and you need to pay for it. Whether you use it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, 59 minutes also, you need to pay for 20 rupees. And you have crossed 60 minutes and then you have crossed 1 minute or 5 minutes. How much you need to pay? 40 rupees. Similarly, here also, whenever you launch an EC2 instance, doesn't matter whether you have used for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, half an hour, you need to pay every hour, hourly billing. It is hourly billing. How much? Don't worry. Depend upon the size. Let's say, for example, you have a laptop with only 2 GB RAM. You will get it for 20,000 rupees. And if you have latest one i7 with 16 GB RAM, big machine, you need to pay for more, no? Similarly here also, how much size that you have taken the machine, you need to pay that much money. So don't worry about how much we need to pay, that we'll see later. But you need to pay every hour. Every hour you need to pay. You understand now why you got this? Is this clear? So how many hours? So you have, whether you have used for 5 minutes also, the billing will be happening every 1 hour. Whether you use it or you don't use it. Okay. Now, let me give you one scenario. You know, Pani Puri? Golgappa, right? So everyone likes Pani Puri mostly, right? So just imagine, I'm just asking you a question. How many different types of customers a Pani Puri guy might have? How many? So many, no? I'm not asking number of customers. I'm asking different types of customers. Right? So we have different types of customers. So one customer is, as if someone say, Pyaz zyada dalo, right? And bhaiya, one more puri, suka puri, right? And they have same. Okay, just imagine. So now there is a question. So, sir, if we create 5 EC2 and terminate it in 7 hours. Okay, I'll give you, there is one, still there is a question here. Let me answer this question. So 1, 2, 3. So now how many EC2 instances are there here? And I used for All these EC2 instances I use for 3 hours. AWS will charge for how many hours? 3 hours only, no? Huh? Tell me the answer. So if I'm using one EC2 instance 3 hours, then how many hours it is? 9 hours. So if I use all these EC2 instance 1 hour, then 3 hours. Correct? Each EC2 instance is calculated as 1 hour. So, and now remember, this 750 hours concept is not for only one single EC2 instance. One single EC2 instance, don't think that you will be using 750 hours. No, it is the combination of all EC2 instances. Now, if you have 10 machines and you have used for 3 hours, how many hours total? 30 hours. So for in all total, you should not cross 750 hours. So how many times you do the practical also, definitely we never not even cross more than 50 hours till now, right? So don't worry, no problem. Aram say you can do the practicals. Don't think about the bill. The only thing is here, there are some check boxes, there are some features that you should not enable it. So I'll teach you all those things. If you don't enable it, you don't get any bills there. Okay. Then whenever we do the practicals, I'll tell you that, hey, if you use this, you will get the bill. So be careful, don't use those things. Okay. I'm not scaring you and all. It is very common, but I'm just letting you know before itself. So you have to listen my words and you have to follow me in order not to get bills. Okay. Okay. So Yasin or someone, okay. Is that clear? No? Okay. I was telling about this Pani Puri guy, right? Okay. So as I said, there are different types of Pani Puri. I mean, different type of customers to the Pani Puri. Pani Puri is also a business, no? It's a business. So let's say people like you and me, now we got a mood or we got a feel that we need to go and eat Pani Puri. What we will do? We'll take the money, we'll put in our pocket, we'll directly go to the Pani Puri guy and we'll order one plate, we'll eat and we pay and we'll come. Yes or no? How much is plate puri, Pani Puri? 20 rupees. So it is fixed price. Yes or no? It is fixed price. Are you bargaining anything there? No, you go there and you eat, you pay and you go. And let's say you eat 2 plates, you pay 40 rupees and you leave. That's it. You have a demand to eat Pani Puri. You want to eat Pani Puri, go there, eat, pay, and then go. Pay as you go. Pay as you go. You pay it and go. And now there is another type of customer. What he'll do is, you might have seen this kind of customers. Our friends also maybe. That guy will stand in front of that Pani Puri guy only. And Pani Puri guy will ask, Babu, come here. I'll give you. And he'll say that, no. Let them finish. I'll eat later. Lastly, I'll eat later. So he'll wait until everyone leave. And after that, lastly, first of all, tell me guys, why he's waiting for the last turn? He want to talk to the Pani Puri guy. Once everyone left, and then he'll have a deal with Pani Puri guy. He will say that, Bhaiya, the dangerous word that you guys use, right? Pani Puri Bhaiya, right? Yeah. I'll come here only. Daily I'll come. I'll eat here only. Every day I'll come. Why is talking about all these things? For discount. For what? Discount. So why he's talking about all these things? Discount. He'll say that, hey, Pani Puri bhai, I'll come to you only, I'll eat here only, but let's have a deal. Please give me some discount. Okay, so this customer is saying that I'll come to you only. How does the Pani Puri guy as a businessman will believe the customer that he will come daily to him? Will he believe? Customer will say that, okay, I'll come every day, and then please give me it for 15 rupees or 10 rupees. And this Pani Puri guy will say that, okay, no problem. He'll take 10 rupees and he'll pay. Tomorrow, if it doesn't come, what he'll take? Advance. Very good. What is taken, Nana? Advance. So this Pani Puri guy, what he'll do is he'll take some advance from that customer, so that as he has the advance with him, the customer is forced to come to him only, no? So the businessman is profited and customer is also profited, because customer has got a discount and then businessman has got a money revenue there. Got this point? So as a small Pani Puri guy, business guy, he has different types of customers. Just imagine about AWS. So any customer who is using AWS, there are different types of customers, no? So based on these different types of customers, AWS came up with something called pricing models. What's that? Pricing models. Let's talk about that. What is this, Nana? Pricing models. So the first pricing model that AWS has came up with is on-demand instances. What is that? Say that, everyone. On-demand instances. As the first customer, like the first customer, he has a demand to eat the Pani Puri. What he did? He went, he ate, he paid, and he left. So did he do any bargain? Any commitments? Nothing. Here also in AWS, I want to launch EC2 instances. I want to launch EC2 instances. I went, I launched, I used, I pay. Simple. On demand. So if you have a demand of the EC2 instances, go and launch 1, 2, 3, 50, 500, how many you want? You go and launch how many hours that you have used, those many hours you pay for it, and then go. Simple as that. So that is called on-demand instances. Nana, in this case, do we have a fixed price or not? Agree fixed price? Yes, it's a fixed price. Agree it is hourly or not? Yes, it is hourly. And then pay for what you have used. Do you all agree we need to pay per hour? Yes, we need to pay per hour. Nana, do you do any commitments here? Do you tell to AWS that? Do you tell AWS that I'll be using this EC2 instance for next 1 year? Will you tell to AWS in this on-demand instances? I'll use today by and tomorrow I'll terminate. Who are you to ask? My wish. I have demand to launch. I use. I terminate. And tomorrow I'll launch 2 more. It is based on the demand. You go and use it. So here, no commitment. Are you paying any advance here? So don't call it as advance. Advance is a very layman language that people call. So we should call it as upfront payment. What is that? Upfront payments. So upfront. So do you do any upfront payments here? No. So no upfront payment. No. And also, do I have a predictable usage? Predictable usage? No predictable usage. Today I'll use 2 GB RAM. Tomorrow I'll use 4 GB RAM. Right? If my customers are more, I'll keep on increasing the RAM. Is any predictable usage here? No predictable usage. Is that clear, Nana? On-demand instances. Is this clear? Is it clear? On-demand instances. That is the one model. Okay. So let's go to the next model. This price is same for students or others? Here customer meaning not student, not so customer meaning customer only. Okay. Now will you tell to Pani Puri guy that's I am a student, can you give me one more puri? No, it doesn't matter. You are a student also, you are a businessman also, you are a big IT software engineer also, doesn't matter. It's 2 rupees, it's 20 rupees only, right? Okay. And then the second type of customer, Nana, we call it as reserved instances. What instances? Keep that in mind. Reserved instances. So this is that type of customer where he want to do the commitment. So here we call it as long-term commitment. What is that? Long-term. In reserve instances, what we are doing, we are committing. So similarly, the customer says that, hey, I'll come to you only, Pani Puri guy. I'll come to you only here only, and he is committed. And he's paid for he paid advance. Similarly, here also in EC2, what you are doing is here, you are telling AWS that, hey, AWS, I'll be using you only. I'll be using your EC2 instance only. I'll come here only. I'll use here only. And AWS will also ask, no, how do I believe you? How do I believe you? Will you come to me only? How do I believe you that you don't go to Azure or GCP? Right? So for that reason, AWS is saying that, give me the commitment. Customer says that, okay, I'll give the commitment. How much time? And AWS is saying that I want long-term commitment. What is that, Nana? And a customer is asking, how many years? 1 or 3 years commitment. How many years commitment? 1 or 3 years. Either you commit for 1 year or you commit for 3 years. And if you want to commit for 2 years, what you need to do? After 1 year, again 1 year you need to commit. You're getting it? So long-term commitment. So here, do we need to do upfront payment or not here? Definitely you need to do the upfront payment. Upfront payment. You can do the full payment or partial payment also. This upfront payment is similar to what do you call when you're purchasing any vehicle, what you pay in front? Down payment, right? Similarly like down payment here. Okay, now AWS said that, Ore Babu, I want, please do the commitment, long-term commitment. And customer says that, okay, AWS, I'll commit for you 1 year. 1 year I'll do the commitment. I'll use your machines only. And now it's up to AWS turn. He need to give discount, no? You know how much AWS is discount for this? 72% discount. How much, Nana? 7. Is a great discount or not? Super discount. It's a 72% discount on early price. So if you are paying 10 rupees, for example, per hour, and if you commit for 1 year and do some down payment, and per hour, how much you need to pay? 2.5 or 2.4. That's it. Where is 10 rupees? Where is 2.5? Huge discount you will get. Understood? Is this clear? And this here, it is predictable usage or not predictable usage? Predictable usage, because you're committing, no? You are taking one machine, let's say this is my laptop, it has 8 GB, for example. I will be using this for 8 GB. I'll be using this machine for 1 year. How much GB it is? 8 GB. So that's my pretty predictable usage, no? 8 GB I'll be using it, right? So here I have predictable usage. Okay. Is this clear? Reserve instances. And in reserve instances, there are 2 types of reserve instances. One is called standard RI and convertible RI. What are the 2 types of reserve instances now? Standard RI and one more convertible RI. So standard RI meaning your standard one, which is 72% discount wala. If you have a longer workloads, go for this standard RI. When do you use convertible array? Convertible array you use for all, again, long workloads with flexible instances. That meaning, let's say, for example, Nana, you have your laptop, which is, let's say, 2 GB RAM, and I'm the vendor. So I'm the service provider. And you took from me 2 GB laptop, 2 GB RAM laptop, and then you committed for 1 year, which is standard reserve instances. Later, you are telling that, hey, 2 GB is not sufficient. Please exchange to 4 GB. You have done commitment for 1 year, no? When you go for standard array, you don't get any option to do the change. But if you go for convertible array, that means can we do the changes? That is why we call it as flexible instances. That meaning you can change from 2 GB to 4 GB to 8 GB, how much ever you want to change, you can change. That is called convertible array. In this case, you will get 66% discount. 66% discount. So in this case, you can change instance type, you can change the operating system, you can change the tenancy, etc. I'll tell you all these things in couple of minutes, in few minutes. What is instant, all these things. What are the chances clients switching from different service providers? I don't think so they'll switch. Yes, they are switching from Azure to AWS. People, I have, in my experience, I have never seen moving from AWS to other service providers, because AWS is too good. It's too good, too user friendly. Price level also is cheaper than others. It's really good. Okay, now. So do you all understand what is the reserve instances? Is it clear? Okay, let me ask you one question. And so, which pricing model has the commitment? So whenever you see an interview or certification question, long-term commitment, which type? Reserve instances. Predictable usage, reserve instances. Fixed price, on demand. Fixed price, on demand. Okay. No commitment, on demand. No upfront payments. Upfront payment, reserves. This is how you need to. Okay. And then next one is very, it's not like, tell me one thing. You went and launched 8 GB RAM EC2 instance. How much? 8 GB RAM. Can you tell me, will you be using 8 GB all the time? No. So sometimes you'll be 2 GB, 3 GB, sometimes 0, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, sometimes 8. So will you continue use 8 GB? Will you consume 8 GB? No. Just imagine, I'm telling only one. Like this, you might be having 100 of machines like this. Just imagine how many customers are there, how many machines they have, how much infrastructure or RAM is getting wasted. Agree? How much infrastructure is getting wasted? I went and launched one 8 GB RAM EC2 instance. I'll not be using 8 GB all the time. Like you also launched 64 GB RAM. Will you using 64 GB all the time? No. For that reason, what these guys, business guys, these AWS guys did was, we have so much of infrastructure which is not used. No. Let's start doing bidding. What is that? Bidding? Bidding. Auctioning. Auctioning, bidding. Don't tell me you don't know. Huh? Remember in movies also you watch, no? There will be a donkey painting. And then if I say like, okay, start with 5,000. And tell me now here, question here is, the base price I have put for this donkey painting is 5,000 rupees. Then next, how much? 6,000. 10,000. 10,000 here. Why you are saying 7? 20,000. 21,000. Directly like, come. You, 1 crore. 1 crore. So 1 crore donkey painting is buying donkey painting. Right? So what is this called, Nana? Auctioning. What is this called? Auctioning. Similarly, here also in AWS, he has an infrastructure. He'll tell that, Babu, okay, let's say some item is there. Can you, how much ever you want to bid, you can bid it. No issues. Who will stop you? But if it is below the base price, will you get the item? No. So you need to go and keep on increasing the price. Correct? So here also in AWS, he has an infrastructure where you can start bidding it. If you say that I want 100 GB RAM EC2 instance for 5 rupees only. It's very cheap, no? AWS might have set a base price, 5 rupees also. No issues. But if you put 4.5, will you get that 100 GB machine? If you put 5.5 or 6, you will get 100 GB RAM EC2 instance. You will get it just like that. How much cheaper it is. And then you do your work. If someone has bidded the same capacity for 7 rupees, that item, that EC2 instance will be with you or it will leave? It will leave. You will lose the EC2 instance. So when you will be using this auctioning in EC2 instances, if you know that you have some process to do, and if you know anything start and end time, let's say for example, you want to do some work, you want the machine, you want to deploy application, you want to run some task, you want to do some calculation, you want to do some processing, whatever, you want to do some work in the machine, you want to do some work inside the machine, and make sure that you know how much time that work should be done, in how much time the work will be done. You need to know start time and end time. Let's say I have my website. Can I use, and by the way, this model we call it as spot instances. What instances? Okay, now, Nana, I have my application. Can I use spot instances for that? I have website. My company website is there, which that should be available all the time. Should I use spot instances for that? No. Your machine will live anytime, no? Let's say I want to run so many calculations which will take only 10 minutes. Will you use spot instances? Yes. So guys, spot instances meaning, remember, in interview and certification, if you see bidding, auctioning, which is the model that you should use? Spot instances. So you can do the bidding from AWS, use the base price, get the machine for cheaper price. You know how much percentage discount you will get? 90% in this model. How much? 90%. So utilize it. There are so many pricing models. Based on a requirement, you can go and utilize this. So anything related to bidding, auctioning. Okay. Nana, can we get huge capacity for cheaper price? Yes. Huge capacity for cheaper price, you'll get it. How much percentage discount? 90% discount. Can lose the EC2 instances? Can lose EC2 instances. And this is the most effective, cost-effective instances in AWS. Yes. Okay. Don't use it. They know. Nana, is this clear? Spot instances. Okay. Now, see here. Do you remember host machine? Host machine. Who is handle the host machine? Who is responsible for the host machine? AWS, no? So in backend, all we have so many host machines. Let's say, for example, this is the host machine. Okay. Let's say AWS will have so many host machines, no? Are we responsible for the host machine? No. So this is the host machine, one host machine, and this is another host machine. What is the bottom? In the bottom, what you have? Hardware. On top? Uh-huh. What do you have? Excellent. Very good. So hardware you have, on top of it you have hypervisor. Okay. On top, what we launch? Virtual machines here, what do we call virtual machines? EC2 instances. So EC2 instance will be sitting on the machine now. Okay, now I have, give me one name. Eh? 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 Venki. So we have our friend here, Venki. Okay. So what Venki did was, Nana, see here, listen this carefully. Venki launched the EC2 instance. When he launched the EC2 instance, he'll go and sit here or not? Will he launch? Yes or no? Yes, it'll go and launch, sit here. This is the EC2 instance. And we have one more customer. Tell me one more name. Huh? Kirti. Kirti. Uh, I'll tell Radhika. Not Ritika. Gone. Okay. So here, so we have here Radhika. Let's say, I don't know who is Radhika, but I'm just training. So here, now we have Radhika. See here, Nana. Radhika also launched an EC2 instance. And can you tell me, this EC2 instance will go and sit on the same host machine or not? Yes. See here, guys. See here, very important. Okay. So Venki is a different customer. Radhika is also a different customer. Whenever they launch an EC2 instance, it will be sitting in the same host. So here the tenancy is shared or dedicated. Very good. So tenancy is shared. Tenancy is shared. Now we have one more customer.
Thank you, sir.
Kumari. I'll take you, Kumari. Huh?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we have Kumari. Now Kumari also launched an EC2 instance, but this girl, what she wants is she don't want to share the hardware to others. She want to have a dedicated host machine. So whenever she go and launch, she'll go and launch in the EC2 instance here, and no other customers will be launching the EC2 instance on that machine. She want to have a dedicated. So tenancy is shared or dedicated? Dedicated. So you can ask, sir, who will go for dedicated? So there might be there are very few customers where they are very security sensitive, government projects, and there might be few very, very big organizations where they don't want to share the hardware to other customers. Right? Nana, is this our responsibility to place the EC2 instance in the host machine? No. We just go and launch the EC2 instance. Automatically, the EC2 instance will go and sit in the host machine. That will be handled by AWS. So if we are going, so by default, most of the 95% of the companies, they go with the shared tenancy only. But if at all you want to have a dedicated, then go for dedicated. Now, which one is costlier here? Shared or dedicated? Similarly, like your Amirpet hostel rooms. In our hostel, how many people are there? 6 people, for example, right? 5 people. So it's shared or not? Shared. Then let's say you have another friend who is staying in the flat, apartment flat. That is dedicated. Which is costlier? Apartment flat is costlier. So whichever you want to have. So basically you have more and more security in dedicated in apartment. Do you have a very good security in the shared hostel room? No. So it is up to you whether which one you need to choose it. Nana, do you all understood? So the next pricing model here, we call it as dedicated hosts. It is like renting a physical machine only, no? Dedicated host machine. Yes or no? Dedicated host machine meaning indirectly you are renting a full machine only for you, right? Okay. Let's say like this, can I have 2, 3, 4 host machines dedicated for me? Yes. And I can launch, see, when I'm launching the EC2 instance, can I select first dedicated host machine? Yeah. I want to launch 5 more machines. Can I launch in my second machine? Can I launch in third machine? So can you choose the instance placements? Do we have problem? Do we choose the instance placements? Where should we sit? Yes, we can. Because in dedicated host, it is a completely a physical machine that is dedicated for you. And if you have multiple host machines, you can control where the EC2 instance should be placed. I have 3 flats, for example. I have friends, 50 members friends are there. Can I tell them that, hey Babu, you 4 people go to the first flat. Hey, you 10 people go to the second flat. Can I choose the placements? Yes. Because 3 are my individual flats. You're getting it. So here, book entire physical machine. Now, can we do control? Control instance placements? Yes, you can do the control instance placements. And the next we have similarly dedicated instances. What is that? Say that, Nana. Dedicated instances. Before one is dedicated hosts. Host meaning the whole flat, the whole hardware. And now we are talking about dedicated instances. Dedicated instances. If you have dedicated instances, your hardware will be shared for other customers? No. That is dedicated. So here also same. No other customer will share your hardware in dedicated instances. But do you have control on the host machines? No. If you want to have the control on the host machines, which one you should go? Dedicated host. Dedicated instances meaning your instance will be still will be like separately dedicated for you. But do you have control on the placements? No, you don't have control on the placements. So that is called dedicated host. I'll write it here. No other customer will share your hardware and no control on instance placements. Is it clear? Getting it slowly? Okay. And next one we have here called capacity reservation. Capacity reservation. See, Nana. Capacity reservation. The name clearly says, what is the name says? Capacity reservation. So what is this capacity reservation? Let's say, for example, recently I saw this. I just heard, I know the concept of capacity reservation, but recently I saw with my eyes. I'll tell you what. How many availability zones are there in Mumbai? How many availability zones are there in Mumbai? Huh? Okay, what is the Mumbai region code? AP minus South minus 1. How many availability zones are there in Mumbai? 3. What are those? 1A, 1B, 1C. So I should ask the questions in sequence order. Okay. So okay, 1A, 1B, 1C. 1A available. What is availability zone? Data center. Available is nothing but data center. If I want to go and launch EC2 instance, let's say I want to launch 10 EC2 instances in 1A. I want to launch 20 EC2 instances in 1B. I want to launch 50 EC2 instances in 1C. That meaning I'm getting the infrastructure from the data center only, no? Now, all of a sudden, in my production environment, I am writing a script to launch 500 machines. On the spot, I want to launch how many? 500 machine EC2 instances. That capacity should be there in the data center, no? Yes or no? If you go to restaurant and he said that by restaurant is closed, nothing is there, and you said I want to have a jumbo biryani now. There is no biryani inside. How do they give you? Right? But if you want to come tomorrow at the same time and you want to eat with your friends, what will you do before? You reserve it. What will you do? Reserve it. You will say that by tomorrow I need these many jumbo biryani. Please reserve it. So you'll keep it ready. Similarly, here also, capacity reservation meaning, so you can reserve the capacity in a particular availability zone. So in my, there is one enterprise application in my company, like where it is going and launching more than 200 machines in the same time. So whenever we are executing that script through Lambda, so it is saying out of capacity. Then I got shocked. Are, how come AWS will say out of capacity? Right? So then when I investigate, there is a concept called capacity reservation, where you can reserve the capacity if you have this kind of requirement. So, but does the AWS will charge for the reservation? No. Until you use it, you will say that, I need 500 machines. Reserve it. No. AWS will not charge for reservation until you go and use it. If you are using 500 machines, then AWS will charge. But will they charge only for reservation? No. So that is called capacity reservation. Reserve capacity in a specific availability zone for any duration, no time commitment. Is it clear now? Capacity reservation? Okay. And then lastly and latestly, AWS came up with another model which is called savings plan. What is that? Savings plan. This is the latest one which AWS came. So I'll tell you the differences, why we need, which one we need to choose and all. But here we have something called savings plan. Now, a savings plan is similar as reserve instances only. Savings plans is same as a reserve instance. But here in savings plan, you have a lot of flexibility. You can choose this region, that region, this operating system, that operating system, anywhere you can do and whatever you want to do. That is called here savings plan. So same as reserve instances, but it has different strategy. Here also 1 or 3 year commitment to the amount of usage, long workloads. Here, get discount based on long-term usage and lock to specific instance, family and region, and flexible across instance size, operating systems, and tenancy. So you have the flexibility to choose any instance size, operating system, tenancy, but lock to specific region only here. And is this clear till here, everyone? Okay, you're writing. Online, is this clear till here, everyone? Okay, so I'll be asking a couple of questions here, guys, everyone. I'll tell that. Shiva, hold on. So Nana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost. How many pricing models are there? 7. So this pricing model 7, it's not constant. AWS will come up with new things. At the moment, we have 7 here. I'll be asking the questions and you tell me answers. Long-term commitment. Long-term commitment. Reserve. How many years? 1 or 3 years. How much percentage discount? 71. How many types of reserve instances are there? 2 types. What are those? Standard array and then convertible array. So I want to use it and kill it and then do it. Fixed price. Fixed price on demand. Fixed price on demand. And then do I need to do any commitment here? No, any upfront payments? Any predictable usage? Predictable usage, which one? Reserve instance. Anything related to bidding, auctioning? Spot instances. Which one? Spot instances. I want to book a physical machine, dedicated host, and I want to have dedicated instances only. And I want to hold some capacity in particular availability zone. Capacity reservation. And what we have last one? Savings plan. Saving plans also similar like reserve instances, but you have here a lot of flexibility. You have it. Understood? Now the question here is, in our course, tell me which pricing model that we should be using it. Which one? On demand only. So will you reserve it? Will you reserve for 1 or 3 years? No way. Will you do the spot? No. So we don't do all these things. We'll be using on demand instances. Very good. Now, is this clear till here, everyone? Okay. So now here we have something called instance families. What is that? Instance families or EC2 instance families. So we have different types of families, correct? Everyone had different types of families. So here also, a customer has a requirement. A customer will have a requirement that, hey, I want to launch an EC2 instance which needs to have more memory. I want to launch few EC2 instances which I need to have more CPU. I want to launch an EC2 which I need to have more storage. So every customer will have his own requirement or not. So will AWS will give you only few things that use only these things? No. So based on the customer's requirement, AWS has came up with something called instance families. What is that? Instance families. There are different types of instance families, Anna, which is called general instances. Okay. Memory instances, CPU instances, storage instances, GPU instances, like this, etc. So general instances meaning so let's say for any kind of requirement you want to launch an EC2 instance. For any kind of requirement, that EC2 instance should be perfect. Then go for which family? General instances family. And I need more memory. Which family will go? You will go for it. Memory. And if you go for memory instances family, you will see different types inside it. Every family has a different types. We call it as instance types. What we call? Instance types. Very important. Instance types. What is the name? Say that. Instance type. They will be very important word. Which one? Instance type. So every family has instance types. Every family has instance type. Let's say, for example, now instance type will come with CPU plus memory. It's a combination of CPU and memory. What is that? Instance type is a combination of what? CPU and memory. I'm giving few examples. See, there are so many hundreds, thousands of instance types are there. Thousands of instance type. Is it possible to remember all those instance types? Definitely not required at all. I'll be giving here Vamsi Krishna. Sir, instance meaning server. Yes, instance meaning server only. So here, let's say I'm giving one instance type, which is T2 family. Which family? We have T2 family, T3 family, M1 family, M2 family, M3 family, like the R family. There are different types of families are there. Is it possible for us to remember all this? No. So I'm just giving one example. There is an instance type called T2 Nano. So it has 4.5 GB RAM and one CPU is there. No. If you want to go and launch, let's say if you want to purchase a laptop, what will you check? Will you check your CPU and memory only? No. Simple. You'll check the CPU and then how many CPUs are there, how many memory is there, how much memory. Similarly here also, when you're going and launching the EC2 instance, you need to select the instance type you need to select. How many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 steps. One of the step here is to select the instance type, the power of EC2 instance. How much? If you go for T2 Nano, what is the size that you will have? How much RAM? T2 Nano? 0.5 GB RAM. Okay. Next is after Nano, you have Micro, which is having 1 GB RAM and let's say one virtual CPU. Next, after T2 Micro, T2 Small. T2 Small has 2 GB RAM and for example, 2 virtual CPU. Next, after Small, Medium. Right? T2 Medium, let's say 4 GB RAM and some CPU. After Medium, T2 Large, some 8 GB RAM. After Large, X Large only, no? Similarly, like our shirts, right? So 8 GB RAM. After that, you have 16 GB RAM. After T2 X large, double X large. After that, triple. After that, 4X large. Maximum is 4 large only. So like this in each and every. So this is T family. In T family, you have T2 Nano, Micro, Medium, Large, XL, like this you have. Similarly, in every family, you have different types of instance types. Based on the requirement, you need to select it. Okay, now out of all these things, in our course, we have 1 year free tier. And how many hours are free? 750 hours are free per year, per month. Per month. So that we need to go and launch EC2 instance. No, for practice purpose, we need to launch. And one of the step is to select the instance type. So which instance type that we should be selecting is T2 Micro. Which one? Very, very important. So which is the instance type that we should be using in our course? T2 Micro. That is free. T2 Micro is free. If you Pusuku launched EC2 instance with T2 Small, you will get the bill. So which is the instance type that we should be using it? Louder. 3 times. Which one? Which one? T2 Micro. Early morning, if you're getting out of your bed, if I come and ask, hey, which is the instance type that you should be using in our course? T2 Micro, sir. Right? So this is how you should tell. Because if you go with the T2 Micro, then only it is free. If it is other than T2 Micro, it will be charged. So which is the instance type that we should be using in our free tier? T2 Micro. Very good. Clear, Nana? Okay. Now, I'm asking one question. Elasticity is achieved in AWS using autoscaling. Very good. Elasticity is achieved using Auto scale. What is auto scaling? Scale out, scale in. And then scalability. What is scalability? Very good. Scale up and scale down. But I told you in elasticity, in elasticity, you will be achieving using auto scaling. Did I told you how do you achieve scalability in AWS? I haven't told you this. This is the time to know. So how do you achieve scalability in AWS is, let's say, what is scalability, Nana? Scale up, scale down. Let's say, for example, I have 1 GB RAM EC2 instance. I need to do scalability. That meaning what? Increase it to, tell me, increase it to 2 GB RAM. If I have 1 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM EC2 instance, scale up meaning increase to 2 GB RAM or increase to 4 GB RAM or increase to 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM. How do we change the RAM? By changing the instance type. What is that? So if you want to change if you want to do the scalability, how do you achieve the scalability? By changing the instance type. Can you change from T2 micro to T2 small? T2 small to T2 X large, can you change it? Yes, you can change it. How do you achieve scalability? By changing louder, by changing the instance. Again, how do you achieve scalability? One more time. By changing the instance type. Okay, so scalability is achieved like this. Scalability can be achieved by changing the instance type. Now, anytime can I go and scale up? Anytime scale up you can do. Anytime scale down also you can do. One question for you. Now see here. Whenever you're doing scale up, is there any data loss? No. Why? Where the data is stored? In EC2, where the data is stored? What is that called? Volumes. What is that called? Volume. What volumes? EBS volumes. EBS volume. That can be root also. That can be additional volume also. So if you scale up, if you change from if you change from T2 micro to T2 large or T2 micro to T2 small, data is lost? No, because data is stored in the EBS volume. So EC2 is like you need to assemble it. EC2 is nothing but, see, EC2 instance is nothing but instance type here. Okay, first of all, I'll write here. Is there any data loss here? No data loss. And here also, no data loss. See here, Nana. This is the EC2 instance I launch. So when you're launching the EC2 instance, we need to select the instance type, no? Which is the instance type that we should select? T2 micro. So T2 micro will come with 1 GB RAM and then 1 CPU. And then separately, you need to add the volumes. So it is like you need to assemble it. EC2 instance is different, volumes are different. We need to integrate it. EC2 instance is nothing but instance type, which will come with CPU and memory. And all your data is stored in the volumes. There is a question. Can we scale down from T2 micro, T2 nano? You can, no issues. The only thing is the size, the 0.5 GB RAM, you will get it. That's it. But all your data is stored where? EBS volumes. Is there any relation between EC2 instance type and volumes? No. Right? It is just attached. It is attached. They know. That's for it. Okay, now you tell me, Nana, in production environment, I have T2 large machine running, 8 GB RAM machine. And all of a sudden, I need to scale up. Can I do it on the fly? Can you do it on the fly? Answer is no. So you cannot do the scalability. You cannot change the instance type while EC2 is running. What you need to do? Stop that, because it is related to your memory and CPU. No, all of a sudden, can you do it just like that? No. So in order to do the instance change, you need to change the instance type. What you need to do? Stop the machine first, change the instance type, and then start. So I'm saying you need to stop the EC2 instance to change the instance type. So Nana, downtime required or not? Downtime required. If you do any, if you change the instance type, data is lost? No. If you want to change, the instance type, data in the instance will not be lost. Is it clear? Very important. I answered you already. Then you saying, sir, what if I have a huge data? Data is stored in the volume, sir, or data is stored in the instance type? Volumes doesn't matter related. There is no relation to instance type. Instance type is only the combination of CPU and memory. Whether the only problem you will get is performance issue you will get. Yes or no? No, no. And then I have small topic here. See, in EC2, not every feature is free. There are few features which are billable, but we should know the topic. So like this, there is one billable topic which is called burstable performance instances. What is it? Burstable performance instances. So I'll quickly say this. See, what is burstable performance instances? Nana, I have this one EC2 instance. See here, and I have application here. This is my EC2 instance. Okay. And this is T2 small, for example. Now for T2 small, how many CPUs that you have? For example, 2 virtual CPUs you have. Okay. See here. I have one EC2 instance. What is the size of the EC2 instance? T2 small. How many CPUs are there? See, how many CPUs are there? 2. So now at night, or you have got a huge traffic on this EC2 instance. All of a sudden you got a huge traffic, huge load on the EC2 instance. The 2 CPUs are sufficient? That will get exhausted or not? Definitely get exhausted. So customers are still using. It is runtime. It is a runtime that customer are using it. But the EC2 instance has only 2 CPUs, which is got exhausted. So when it got exhausted, do you get a good performance to the customer? No. So in the runtime, how do you manage this? So AWS came up with a small feature called burstable performance instances. What is that? Burstable. What is burstable meaning? Dhamal, right? Patna, right? So burstable performance instance. This, if you enable this topic, if you enable this concept, what will happen is you don't need to do anything. You just need to enable. Yes, no, that's it. Everything will be handled by AWS. You know how AWS is handling it? Guys, in the runtime, AWS will give you CPU credits. What will give? In the runtime, AWS will give you CPU credits. For EC2 instance, AWS will give the CPU credits. Let's say based on the what is the instance type that you have selected? T2 small. So based on the instance type, AWS will give you, let's say, for example, 6 CPU credits. How many are there now total? 8. So 8 CPUs are enough to handle the situation there? Yes. So instead of not EC2 instance, instead of going down, if you enable burstable performance instances, at that time, it will burst and take the CPU credits and handle the situation. But this will be continuous? No, this will not be continuous. So this is any additional extra feature. Okay. So whenever I say about burstable performance instances, or whenever I say about CPU credits, then please remember it is burstable performance instances. So EC2 instance will enter into the burstable mode and give high performance for a limited period of time only. And CPU credits depend upon the instance type. How many CPU credits AWS will give, sir? Depend upon the instance. If you select T2 small, he will give 6. If you go for T2 large, he might give 20. Depend upon the instance type. So there is a question. How much time will it take to stop EC2 instance and change the instance type? Same like your laptop. How much time for you to take to shut down the laptop and start the laptop? 2-3 minutes? Enough. Okay, I'll stop it here. Correct. If you want, it is a feature, Shiva. If you want to enable, enable. Otherwise, no. Shared instances. It's not shared instances. It's called state tenancy, Abdul. Let's take the screenshot. Amma, question? Na? Okay. And the second one. So if my voice, if my throat is still going bad tomorrow, so please watch out Google Classroom or Telegram, right? So if my health is not, because it is like machine, no? If you put stress on it, it will still go bad. So let's see. So if I'm okay, we'll have tomorrow. Otherwise, please watch, keep in mind. Okay. I'm not declaring holiday. I'm not declaring holiday, but just in case I'm saying, okay, if it's going bad. Can I get a final CC for today, Nana? Online? Okay. Thank you, Vijaya.